All right, here we go.
Howdy, welcome back to the Acoustic Centre YouTube channel. Joshy, it's a big welcome back to you.
Thank you.
We've had a couple of weeks off. I've been away, Josh has been away, but Joshy, you've really been away, haven't you?
You've been far away.
Yep.
I've been really, really far away. So
Joshy has just got back from an incredible trip over to Taylor Guitars HQ in California.
that's right.
How was it, mate?
Well, we have an undisclosed tone room here. I went to Taylor's undisclosed tone room. So there's more information coming up about that. I can't say everything right now because there's some amazing things coming out from Taylor, some amazing guitars, that is to say. But today we'll be talking a little bit about the trip, but also about some fairly fine guitars.
Yeah,
that we've
while
just gotten to stock.
while you were away, we've had two very special guitars arrive from Taylor. It is, of course, their 50th anniversary year, which is a huge accomplishment for any business, really.
It is.
And they've sent us a couple of extremely limited, very special guitars, which we're going to run through. Starting off with this one.
Well, just before I do get into this guitar, I was speaking to our esteemed leader, Mick Richardson, at the shop just before I left, and I said, Mickey, how long have we been involved with Taylor? And he believes it's since about 1996, 97. So half of the, the time that Taylor's been on the planet, the Acoustic Centre's been working with them. So that's a pretty extraordinary accomplishment as well. I can't even speak.
They're an incredible company. They're one of our favourite to deal with.
Yeah.
They're always coming up with fabulous new guitars.
Yep.
Their quality is unbelievable.
Yeah, ridiculous.
How was it over there at HQ? What impression did you get of Taylor over there where they're based?
Well, I mean, one thing is just the incredible positivity they have for guitars and for what they're doing. They're all on the same page with what they're doing. They're a company that's always moving forward. They're at that point where they could be looking at reissue models.
Right.
They're obviously not a company that is as old as some of the other big name guitar companies, but that's 50 years as an achievement.
It's getting old.
But it's a modern company still.
Yeah.
So everything they're doing, especially with what we're looking at today, is always looking forward.
Yeah.
So they always have this momentum. And it's incredible. It's actually, without trying to sound cheesy, it's very uplifting to be around those people. They're all about possibility, and you can sort of feel that energy when you're around them.
Can't wait to hear more about what they have in store in the coming weeks. In the meantime, this is a really cool guitar, isn't it?
It is. It's actually an amazing guitar. So, 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you look in the sound hole of this guitar, you can't see it from there, but it has the big 50th anniversary sticker. It's been signed off by the very talented Andy Powers, who is the CEO and chief designer for Taylor. So this is a 614ce, but not as we know it. We have certainly never seen this finish.
No.
I don't really know what to call it other than a sort of a reverse burst, I guess, or I don't know what to call it, ghost burst?
Yeah, because what's interesting about it is you've got the pale outer edges, but inside it's actually natural. That's not like a yellow stain or anything.
Yeah, so it's transparent in here, but that's actually just a clear coat with a little bit of white in it, but white all around the edges, and that theme continues on the sides and on the back.
Isn't it amazing that you see so many guitars and then you think, well, there can't be anything new left to do. And then along comes this, and I don't think I've ever seen a guitar with that finish before.
No,
and that's really cool.
And, tortoiseshell binding, which is really traditional. You see tortoiseshell binding everywhere, but I've never seen it done that way, this might not be for everyone, but when you actually look at it and you look how perfect it is, it's quite a guitar to behold.
I mean, as a stage guitar, it would be incredible too.
Yeah. So, rock maple back and sides, to be specific. So
haven't seen any of that for a while.
Yeah, beautiful big grain. You know, the flame in it is just beautiful. But it's subtle underneath that finish. And rock maple?
I think that's big leaf
A big leaf maple on the neck. So it's a unique guitar, as in there are not many guitars around that are maple with maple necks on them. I can only think of a handful. So generally speaking, we've always got a mahogany neck. And so, yeah, a unique timber combination and it's a great sound.
Let's have a listen.
Yeah, full and rich. And very articulate.
Again, putting to bed the myth that maple is a bright sounding tone wood, because that is so warm and full and thick.
That's right. So everyone always, you know, one of the common comments that we have in the shop is that, you know, it's going to be thin and brittle. But as Andy Powers, I mean, he knows a lot more about guitars than you or I do.
A close friend of yours.
Very good, a very good, close and personal good friend of mine. He has said that if you build maple the way you want it to sound, it's sort of a neutral timber, and if you build it this way, it'll do that. If you build it that way, it'll do that. So,
very cool.
And that's why it seems to have a little bit of a name for itself in a negative way, because people have built the same way they built a rosewood or a mahogany guitar, they've built a maple guitar as well. So he builds these guitars ever so slightly differently to voice them a certain way. So
they do a great job.
So maybe I'll pass that one over to you.
Yeah, I've got another one for you. That is gorgeous. That guitar, probably the only one we'll ever get of those. Most of these are limited to 100 pieces worldwide, and not too many of them make them down under. So there's a good chance that's the only one we'll see.
Now,
Joshy.
while you're doing that,
Yes.
I'll just point out that 50th anniversary wood and steel.
There it is.
There's the magazine, the beautiful magazine that Taylor put out. You can come into the store and pick this up if you're in store.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. And it's a pretty amazing magazine. Every single one of them is full of guitar nerdery, which I like personally. But also just the desirability of what Taylor presents is in there, that you just go, wow. You know, just the pictures that they do of these guitars are incredible. If you're a guitar nerd like me, get this little magazine, because it's a great one to look through. 50th anniversary, lots of information about the guys behind the name, Bob Taylor, of course, and Kurt, who are two of the main guys behind Taylor for all those years, and information about timber as well. So it's a good read, wood and steel. Check it out.
I present you with this, a guitar that we used to see a lot of, really, this style of Taylor. Haven't seen any for a while.
This style of Taylor, but not quite as we know it. So, Taylor 12-string, in my humble opinion, the easiest 12-string in the world.
They are
when
very
it comes to an acoustic guitar, very easy guitars to play. They have a nice feel and tension to them. And this is actually, instead of being a jumbo, which we're used to seeing, it's actually their shape called a grand orchestra. So I don't know, what would you call that shape? It's sort of a jumbo. It's a deep body. It's a big guitar, but it doesn't feel cumbersome.
It's a good shape.
Yeah, and it's sort of, we were commenting that this is limited to 100, this 12-string, and we were saying, harkening back to Taylors that we've seen in the past.
It even looks a bit like the Taylors of the 90s.
Yeah, or the sort of noughties era Taylors. That's nice to see. It's kind of brought a little tear to my eye, you know?
Let's have a taste.
So, yeah, sounds like...
That's an extraordinary 12-string. Fills this room.
Yeah, and you know, I've spoken about it before. I always feel that a guitar that is more of a jumbo shape tends to make the treble strings, this is just from my experience, sound less tinny. It seems to slow them down, so it's not as like a harsh sounding 12-string. It's full and rich, and spongy is a word we always use. So the top treble strings don't sound harsh at all. It's just a pretty extraordinary sounding guitar. You know?
Sitka rosewood, is it?
Sitka spruce, Indian rosewood.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, so it's a pretty like standard timber combination.
Always works.
And it always works.
How
that's for
does
sure.
the Taylor do this? They put the two strings in one bridge pin
Yeah,
hole.
and that's a fairly unique.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. So you'll notice with this one too, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rather than 12 individual bridge pins, which is a pretty amazing feature. I mean, they're always coming up with something. You know?
Amazing.
So there you go.
That's a beauty, Joshy. We'll have a lot more to talk about with Taylors in the coming weeks.
We will.
But we just wanted to show you these two very limited, very special guitars. They're in stock now. Every chance we'll only be getting one, so come in and check them out. Joshy, take us out with a few chords.
It's pretty in tune.
I tuned it myself. Beautiful.
There you go.